You wouldn't believe how sad it is to sit there and see the news report that comes around, and it's so far from the truth.
We realize that.
They said that I left the car, I ran away. I was in the truck with Mr. Jackson trying to help him just about. I was doing everything I can. And I couldn't take my car with me if I had to help him.
Right. Okay. You spoke with the doctor, or correct, the detective Porsche.
He had a little fedora
on.
He's a guy. That's the one who.
White-haired guy.
That's the one who spoke to me at the hospital.
Right. Okay. And you provided him with your contact information and an initial statement.
Yes.
Basically, being told us.
Yeah.
Obviously not as in depth. We had tried to get a hold of you several times, and it just would go straight to voicemail.
But then your voicemail was filled. I even tried texting you a couple times.
Well,
Is this Friday morning? Is that
The same would be that evening.
Oh, the same day?
Yeah, same day.
Thursday evening.
I'll let you know that all morning Friday is when he's talking to me. It's very early in the morning. And so it was my advice to simply leave your phone off, talk to me. I had a busy day. I was running around doing 3 different things, listening to this story. And so I told him that we would wait and we would talk to you later.
Okay.
Perfect. And then I didn't want to be bombarded by the number of people trying to reach me on my cell phone.
Being Michael's on-again, off-again physician, are you aware of any pre-existing medical conditions that he had? I mean, you talk about him being possibly addicted to these agents, but anything that you're aware of, any problems that he had?
Well, as far as problems that I treated him for pneumonia.
Okay. When was that?
I think sometime in 2008.
Okay.
2007, 2008, I can't say for sure. I treated him for a fractured toe, a presumed fractured toe. When he was upset in his house, he did for some reason, and he kicked his door in and hurt his feet.
Remember what year?
That I think was 2008. And other than that, I treated him for like upper respiratory viral syndrome, weakness, and a little bit dehydrated state, because he don't eat very well.
Was it kind of chronic with him?
What?
The dehydration and
he don't drink. He don't
fatigue?
Drink and eat. He says all his life his mother's had to force him to eat as a child, so he just don't like to eat foods. And the foods that he eats when he eats is mostly chicken and rice.
What year was it when you treated him for the upper respiratory viral syndrome?
2007, 2008. It was. Oh, you mean the upper respiratory? That was the very first thing I treated him for. That was like a viral illness that was infecting the children and himself, and they were coughing and runny nose and not drinking enough and not getting enough rest.
That'd be about 2006.
Yeah, that was the first time. And I probably treated him a couple of times, maybe 2 or 3 times for that condition.
And then he had some blot on his foot.
Oh, yeah.
But that's probably not what you're
Well, as I looked,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
as I looked at his feet over the years, as a dancer, he had calluses that was so deeply engraved in his feet, and it would be so painful when he danced. I got a podiatrist to come to the house, so they did carve out the callus so that his pain went away. But at the same time, while looking at his feet, he had very severe onychomycosis, which is fungal infection that took over every toe and had gone into his flesh.
And when did you notice that?
On my examination.
When was this, though? How long ago?
I noticed that initially when I first saw him, and he had his socks off. Within the first year I saw him, I saw that as a condition. And we talked about it. We got his calluses to come off first.
But how long ago? What year? What month? Was it this year? Within the last few months?
No, about, I'd say maybe a year and a half ago.
One of the important things about this, you might want to tell the ME, is before he treated it, he treated it with Lamisil. They do sell it in cream, but the thing is, if you take it orally, it's pretty tough on the liver.
Lamisil?
Lamisil.
So he did a full blood workup on him to make sure his liver and everything was within range. So at least you have that available. It was done on a fake name because it didn't like any of that info we get now.
Right.
But everything was in range, right?
Everything was fine.
Yeah.
And then I gave him the 3 months of the Lamisil, and kept checking with him to make sure that he was complying. But he was very happy. At the end of the 3 months, his infection in the foot, his skin was soft. There was no more exfoliation, no hardness. The nails had grown over new. He was amazed. He was very happy with that.
Yeah. Is there any, I'm not asking for any trade secrets, but is there any preliminary toxicology at all?
No, not that they've even shared with us.
In the event there's some, since we don't know what's going to show up, so we can feel like the tissue, these 3 drugs are going to show up. Were you aware of any other medications he was taking?
I was not aware of any other medications that he was taking, but I heard that he was seeing a Dr. Klein 3 times a week in Beverly Hills. And he never disclosed that to me.
You heard from who?
His staff, like Frank Delano, Kenny Ortega, different people that work on his production team, that he was seeing him 3 times a week. Right about 3 weeks ago, desperately around noon, he was calling for someone at Dr. Klein's office. He called Brother Amir to call Dr. Klein's office. He wanted to speak to a special person there. I think the name was Jason. And wanted Jason to see if he can squeeze him in, around the other patients.
Is this something Michael told you?
I'm there while he's doing this.
Oh, he's doing it.
Yeah.
Did you ask him what he needed?
That he wasn't disclosing. I mean, that's his own personal preference. He's in charge of his medical history. He never declared it to me before, but I'd seen bottles of pills at his bedside that had Dr. Klein's name on it. I also saw like a Dr. Metzer name on that, so I realized that he's also seeing other physicians.